What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam. This is Vancity Audi. It is another disgusting day here in Vancouver, but we're trying to make the most of it. Back on the dyno at Racing Greed, this time with the RS3. We're having some difficulties. I noticed that when we switched it back to E85 or E80 in my case, that's what I run with this setup, that my lambda's looking a little funky and my fuel pressure is dropping. So we're not 100% certain why, seeing as for those of you that follow the channel, you saw that we upgraded our fuel lines, which should make it that much easier for the pump to perform. So I reached back out to Unitronic. They're doing some revisions to the file to see what is up and to see if we can make sure this car is running as it should. The goal of today's video, to be quite frank with you guys, was to see if we could squeeze more out of this setup and to see if we could get more power out of it. But in order to do that, you need to make sure that your car is running as it should. I do a lot of racing in this car. I do a lot of high performance stuff with this RS3. And it's been some time since I kind of put forth a disclaimer to you guys that what we do on this channel, we're really pushing this car to its limits, but we're doing so in a very intelligent way, or I like to think an intelligent way. I'm always logging the car. I'm always testing the car. I'm very aware of the car and how it works. Rider Performance is always there to kind of go over everything, double check all my work to make sure that I'm not reading something wrong or screwing something up. So we do everything as well as we can. There's been some failures in the RS3 world on different turbos, and things are failing, and I feel like a lot of people are just bagging on their cars, like hard, repeatedly. When they do performance testing, it's over and over and over again. They're going on the streets of Mexico and doing roll race after roll race after roll race. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. To each your own. If that's what floats your boat, all the best. But we're pushing these cars so hard and so much further than they were meant to from the factory. I just wanted to remind you guys to do your due diligence and be careful. We know that if we break something, we're responsible for it because we're pushing the car to the limit. And we're pushing these cars a lot harder than they were meant to be from the factory. So I kind of just wanted to put it out there to be careful, guys. It's not something that I take for granted. We're very, very careful with what we do. So today's video was supposed to be getting out here and seeing if we can make more power. It's about minus 500 DA right now. It is 8 degrees Celsius. When I was out here last time at the RS3 in December of last year, we made 744 wheel horsepower and the car pulled like a freight train and felt like $1 million. So I'm gonna see today how much temperature and density altitude affect dyno results. We're gonna do our best to get the car running as well as it was in December. Make sure everything, the lambda looks good, your AFRs look good, my fuel pressure looks good, make sure no ignition's being pulled, make sure the boost is there, making sure the car is running perfectly, and see where we land in terms of horsepower and torque. It'll be very, very interesting to see if the car's virtually identical. The only thing we've changed is the upgraded Iroz fuel line kits between December and now. And what are we? We're April 2nd or April 3rd today. So it'll be really interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Some of the first runs, we're gonna be taking it easy. We're dialing in the tune, making sure it isn't hardware and it's the tune or the other way around. So we're playing it very, very safe today. Then if everything is working as it's meant to, we'll see what kind of power numbers we're making previous to getting on the track this year with the RS3. Super sorry guys, one more note before we get this dyno started is we have removed the mid pipes. I use Iroz mid pipes. We've removed those to create the space in between the downpipe and the actual exhaust system. You can see in the car the exhaust system's still there, but it's not connected anymore. When we race the car, I race with no exhaust. We use the turn down from Iroz Motorsport. So we've tossed on the turn down. It's gonna be crazy loud, but we wanna mimic the same conditions that we we do at the racetrack to see how much of a difference it makes. I've shown this in previous videos. If you guys saw that dyno comparison, I believe it was when Unitronic first tuned the TTE777. We removed the exhaust to see what a difference it make. We saw the mid-range higher, but the peak numbers were the same. So we're gonna see how it affects spool today. We're gonna see how it affects power, if at all, and we'll go from there. We've done short, wide open throttle pulls in 4th gear to make sure our fuel pressure and our lambda is where it's supposed to be. 4,000 RPM, 5,000 RPM, 6,000. Slowly working our way up to make sure the car's running as it should. It seems to be running quite well now, possibly the best it's ever run. So we'll do a few more pulls, see what we can generate for power, and see if we're the same, better, or worse than back in December when I logged this car last in significantly cooler weather. First 2 wide open throttle runs we were able to perform. 739 wheel horsepower the first run, 743 the second, 632 for the foot-pounds. Those graphs look fantastic. The car seems to be running as it should now, and we're gonna let it cool down because we were doing a lot of back-to-back runs, and then we'll get to hit it a couple more times. So we're gonna turn on the fans, we're gonna let the car cool down because it is really quite toasty right now. We did a ton of back-to-back runs. So that's kind of where we're sitting for power, which is very, very close to what we were able to achieve in December. A little less torque, but the horsepower is right about there. So how much do weather conditions truly come into making power? We know the car is running well. I gotta say that my fuel pressure and my lambda look better now than they ever have. So once it's cooled down, will we surpass that 744 wheel horsepower and 645 foot-pounds of torque that I made in December with much cooler weather? If I do, that tells me that the car is running slightly better than it was before. Something that I haven't referenced in this video too, in the reasons that we thought we might be able to turn it up, is back in December when it was really cold, I was seeing a wastegate duty cycle of 88%. So it had dropped significantly when we upgraded the charge pipes on either side of the intercooler, as well as the throttle body inlet and the tile diverter. But now, bit warmer weather, and now that the rest of it is sorted out, including the fuel pressure and my lambda, we're back up to 95% wastegate. So we're not gonna be touching that. I'm happy with the way it is. I'm happy with the way the turbo is performing. That is this TTE777. Once the car is cooled down, we'll fire it up again. We'll do a couple more runs for you guys, see if we can squeak out a little more power. Here's the graph for the final 2 runs. Car was a bit cooler. let it cool for a sec, and we managed the best ever 748 wheel horsepower and 642 foot-pounds of torque. We started the day at 739 and 626 before the car had any chance to adapt and learn, and those are the graphs. They look outstanding, the power that was made, how it shoots right up and the torque holds strong and the power just keeps going all the way to redline. The final graph I'm going to show you guys is a comparison between today's best run and the best run I managed back in December. Here we go, the final log of the day. This was the best run today, the final run that we managed, 748 wheel horsepower. This was the best run we managed in December, and one of the reasons why I love doing these videos is to find out very, very interesting data like this. We know that when my car does not have the exhaust connected, it spools a bit better. But what we're seeing here with this solid line being today and the perforated line being in December is the weather had a larger impact on spool than whether I had an exhaust on or not. We are seeing that back in December, when it was like 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, it actually spooled incredibly quickly. Compared to today, I think it's probably 10 degrees Celsius today, and it was a bit slower to spool. Nothing crazy, but still on a dyno, it's noticeable. You can still see the exact same thing down low with the horsepower rating, but then throughout the rest of the pull, it is pretty much on par with one another. Squeaked out a bit more horsepower today, but a bit less torque. I am super happy that the car is running well and very excited to get it to the track and put all this power to use. Another day wrapped up here at Racing Greed. I love hearing my RS3 on the dyno. It sounds like $1 million, especially with the exhaust off, coming straight out of the downpipe, screaming all the way to 8,000 RPM. It's so awesome. 748 wheel horsepower, slightly surpassing what we were able to do in December. What this tells me is the car is running better now than it was in December, and here's why I think that. With the weather being cooler back in December, car operating really quite well, way better than we thought it was operating when we first had the tune on, where we didn't realize we were having voltage issues, we didn't realize we were suffering from pressure loss on the low pressure side. Got it up to 744 and we were thought, this is perfect, but it was really cold outside, and we know that the density altitude was extremely low that day, and it was cold, so the car made so much power. Today it is warmer, significantly warmer, and the DA is probably half of what it was. I think today it's about minus 300. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was easily over minus 1,000 when I dynoed it at 744 wheel back in December. I feel like the car is running the best it's ever run. I am super excited to get it to the track this year, put all of that power to work. I may enjoy doing these dyno videos here and there for you guys to see how much power my cars makes, but in the end it means F all to me. The only thing that matters is a time slip from a track with an ET and a trap, trying to do a personal best this year and see if I can beat what I did last year of a 9.3 at 148. You guys think I'm going to be able to pull it off this year? You think I'm going to be able to go quicker? Thank you all for watching, guys. I love coming here. Thank you so much to Shawn, the dyno operator here, that always takes care of me, and for the team here at Racing Greed that always managed to fit me in. Thank you all for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.